INEOS is continuing to sabotage everything, and I tell you what, they are still rooting for Erik ten Hag to become the replacement of Erik ten Hag at the club of Manchester United. Though the decision of sacking or not sacking Erik ten Hag has not gonna hit obviously be taken. INEOS are considering to obviously get in Gareth Southgate as a new manager for the club of Manchester United if they fail to obviously come to a common understanding on who is gonna be doing what with Erik ten Hag. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys, and where you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Apostle John, thank you for obviously watching in through. Hope you're really having the best of the day in there for you and where you are. And this is the channel that brings you your latest news and information as far as Manchester United is really concerned. A lot is obviously walking around the club of Manchester United, and I tell you what, it is really one of the things that I really feel very much agitated when I see to it that this guy is being talked about or included onto the list of managers that are supposed to be managing Manchester United. I tell you, there are a variety of managers that can obviously come in through and really get the job done and dusted at the club of Manchester United, and I'm really agitated when I hear that it's Gareth Southgate again. Why? Why, for God's sake, should we obviously look up to a manager who, when he managed a football club, it was relegated? That is Middlesbrough. You know, how do we come out to give this guy this club of Manchester United obviously be managed by him? Does he have the credentials? I doubt. It's a fortnight since I last did a live video on this channel. I think I last streamed when he won the FA Cup, and I'm gonna hit resume the live streams, and you're gonna be obviously working onto these live streams on a daily. Smash the like button close to 300 times, and let's talk Manchester United. We thank God for the gift of life. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum, and may the living to God bless you abundantly and abundantly. Now, there is a guy called Sean Katz, United correspondent for The Sun. He has told us that Manchester United are close to announcing a decision on Erik ten Hag's future. You hear? This is a correspondent for the club of Manchester United, and now Seth Demes of Sky Sports said Manchester United's end of season review has entered the final stages. A decision on Erik ten Hag's future could come in the next week. Now, before the FA Cup, it was like Manchester United is going to announce the verdict, or is going to announce their verdict, all stands on Erik ten Hag after the FA Cup. They went ahead to obviously continue and said, even if Erik ten Hag went ahead obviously to win the FA Cup, they were not going to obviously look at that. You understand? After the FA Cup, Ten Hag came in through and we won it convincingly. After Erik ten Hag went ahead to win the FA Cup convincingly, the narrative changed. The narrative changed completely. Manchester United are gonna start what we call the end of the season review. You get? It was like from the 26th to the 31st of May. That's when we are obviously going to hear the verdict of Manchester United on Erik ten Hag. Did it go that way? The answer is no. That week really surpassed. As we entered this week, it was like, this is the week that everything is going to be really announced. And different journalists have gone ahead obviously come out and speak out. Jacobs Ben said this week. Fabrizio Romano, as we entered this week on Sunday, put out a video on YouTube telling us, with the fans of Manchester United, that it's into the final. We are into the final days of Erik ten Hag knowing his verdict from INEOS. The week has gone hit to elapse. It's a Friday. Should we expect an announcement today? Should we expect an announcement on Erik ten Hag's future. Tomorrow, Sunday, everyone is saying next week now. It's now 2 weeks since we won the FA Cup, and no reason or no statement that is official has gone ahead to be put out. It's a hit, no hit yet. It's all misses, even from Fabrizio Romano, even from David. I think the only person who was really very accurate about the situation has been David Austin. David Austin, in his own words, he said that he doesn't see Manchester United moving for Pochettino, moving for Thomas Tuchel, or De Zerbi, or name it. And he believes Erik ten Hag is going to really have his job by the commence of next season. That's what he said. But all these others are really hitting a miss. Now, Fabrizio Romano told us that it is really a hot one, and we anticipated something this week. And I cannot obviously go ahead and really fault him, because the week has not obviously gone ahead to come to an end. We are into what we call a Saturday, and there is what we call a Sunday. So 2 days left, and we are going into this week. And what is going to worry me is all what they are doing is like buying time to obviously get in Gareth Southgate as the manager for the club of Manchester United. That's what is running in my mind, because what is that special thing they are really not using to obviously come out and really tell Erik ten Hag that you are sacked, or you are the next manager, or you are still the manager of Manchester United? It really perturbs me to that level that I'm really in an ocean of questions. And it's not only me, but very many United fans all over the world have been kept into an ocean of questions because of the current situation at the club of Manchester United. And you wouldn't like to find the manager that you love into this situation, and the people doing the job are really very naive at what they're doing. And I find them very naive, and they've gone ahead to show us that they are really very slow at the job, and they don't need to obviously come in through and obviously be in charge of a club like Manchester United, because to be in charge of a big club, you need to be robust when it comes to making decisions. That is it. Look at Barcelona on how they dealt with Xavi. They had reconciled with him after Xavi had gone ahead and said in March that he's really going to throw in the towel and he's going to leave Barcelona. After his good performances in the Champions League, Laporte was like, I want to keep you. Xavi agreed. But Xavi went ahead, obviously put out a statement that he knew was going to obviously agitate the president of Barcelona, Laporte, and he was really thrown and sacked. You understand? The decision was made quickly, and they got in the man called Hans Flick. Look at Juventus. They sacked Allegri, and they've gone ahead to bring in Thiago Motta. You know, even though it's not yet official, but we know that they are discussing onto the terms and conditions of how Thiago Motta is going to be operating the club of Juventus. Napoli have gone ahead to announce Antonio Conte. You get? They parted ways with their manager at the end of the season, and they got in Antonio Conte. You understand? So look at Chelsea sacking Pochettino at the end of the season. Weeks later, I think a week later, I think it was like 4 or 5 days later, they announced Enzo Maresca. You understand? Leicester City is set to announce its manager. Fenerbahce have gone ahead to take on Jose Mourinho. You know, AC Milan is taking on Francesca. Ajax has already gone ahead to announce their manager. You get? Very many teams are really announcing their manager. You get? But a club called Manchester United that is bigger than all those clubs hasn't gone ahead to obviously make an announcement. You get? The other club that went ahead to obviously part ways with Thomas Tuchel and they went ahead to obviously announce their manager is Bayern Munich. And all these teams, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, they've been really looking good in the recent past. You know, Bayern Munich was playing into the semi-finals of the Champions League just this recently accomplished season. Barcelona played in the quarterfinals of the recently concluded Champions League season of 2023-2024. And for Manchester United, when did we last play a quarterfinal? I think we last played the quarterfinal in the Champions League. You remember when we went ahead and obviously shocked PSG in Paris. They came to Old Trafford. They beat us by 2-0. We went away at PSG. We beat them by 3-1. You remember that penalty that was given to Manchester United after Diego Dallo directed a shot and Kimpembe used his arm to obviously stop it. VAR reviewed it. It was a penalty, and Marcus Rashford, was VAR even here? I don't remind. I don't really recall, but the referee pointed at the spot. And guess what happened? Rashford scored it, and we played to the semi-finals, in the quarterfinals, where Barcelona beat us by 1-0 at Old Trafford, 3-0 away at the stadium of Camp Nou. So that is how things really happened. We last played in the quarterfinals of the Champions League in 2018-2019 season. All of the times we've gone ahead, obviously, go to the Champions League. I think on 2 occasions we've not gone out of the group stages, and on 2 occasions we've gotten knocked out on the round of 16. That is Manchester United for you. Now, if clubs that are really stronger than us have gone ahead to make big decisions like those, then who are we not to come out and really make big and quick decisions? If they believe what they are doing is right, why are they taking all this time? That question goes to INEOS. If they believe what they are doing is right, why are they taking all this long to really come up with a perfect decision on who to be the next manager for the club of Manchester United? And this is where the blasphemy comes in through to hit you up. Miguel Delaney, he is coming in through from the Independent. He said that Manchester United's priority choice of Gareth Southgate is one factor complicating the decision over Erik ten Hag's future, as INEOS are intent on getting the first big call of their era right. Now, if Gareth Southgate is their preferred man and they believe they are competent, you get? And they believe they are competent, right? Then why don't they make that call? That means they also know that the call they are making is really very, 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 very vague. And they are trying to make something that they believe will obviously backfire. If they believed in Southgate, as their priority, and they want him to come in through and obviously take on Manchester United to replace Erik ten Hag, why don't they make the decision? It won't be the very first time Manchester United is appointing in a manager who is at a tournament. And for the manager that came in through to manage Manchester United in 2014, 2015, he was managing the Dutch team, and he was really having a very, very busy schedule because he was managing Netherlands at the biggest tournament of football in the world. That was at the World Cup. You get? And they gave him the job. As he was really doing the job at Netherlands, he found himself some time to obviously talk to Manchester United on the signings he wanted. And he was like, I'm going to assess this team. So, history repeats itself. If they think this guy is right, what's blocking him to come in through and redo the job of Manchester United? It's not because he is managing England. The reason is he's not that good. He's not that good. I tell you, Gareth Southgate, he's not that good. If he was that good, he wouldn't be managing England for all those years. I think he was appointed in 17? You get? Let me be accurate here. When was Southgate appointed the manager of England? You get? Southgate appointed England manager. I want to know when he was appointed. He was appointed November 30th, 2016. How many years has he been managing the side of England? 8 fucking years, right? He has spent 8 fucking years managing England. And in November, he'll be making 8. So, 8 years managing England, and not even a championship team, not even a second bottom placed Premier League team has come out and really shaken his job at England. Do you know why? He's not good enough. He's not good enough. If he was good enough, he wouldn't have gone ahead to be at England, because he's still young. If you compare him to the other managers, I think he's 52, 53 years of age, Gareth Southgate, and he would love to be working on a daily, day in, day out, because club football, you only rest for a full month after the season, and then you return for the pre-season, and you work for the next 11 months. Out of the 12 months of the season, you just rest for like 1.5 months. You understand? 11 months, you have to keep them really working. And I think that would be his ideal choice as Gareth Southgate. But why isn't he even a manager at Brighton? Do you know that Brighton don't have a manager? Right? If Brighton are not looking at Southgate, if Chelsea aren't looking at Southgate, Liverpool never looked at Southgate, and very many other teams. Aston Villa, and they sacked Steven Gerrard. Did they go for Southgate? The answer is no. The guy is bad. He doesn't have any attribute that can attract him to be one of the top managers in the world, I tell you. And he doesn't tick any box of becoming a United manager. And if at all INEOS are delaying to obviously make this decision, because Dave Bracewell is an admirer of Gareth Southgate and Dan Ashworth, it's obviously because they know he's not good enough. And it will obviously backfire. That is it. And that is really very naive about them, because if we the fans can obviously read the lines, or read in between the lines, and really read the room, why can't they do so? Are they that Southgate spellbounded, Southgate bounded, that they cannot obviously put on their telescopes and obviously get to know that this man has been at England at 8 years and he has gone ahead to win nothing for England? The best he achieved, playing the semi-finals of the World Cup 2018 and playing the finals of the Euros 2021. He's going to he's going to Germany to play with England, and I tell you what, he's not going to be that guy. He's not going to be that guy to obviously win England the trophy. Yet England, in my list of favorites, it's there. And my reason I'm going to give onto the Rokani Media Footballs to why I believe England won't come out obviously win the trophy, it's because of the manager. Like, you're going to hate to see him today playing against Iceland in what I'm going to be tackling very, very soon. Now, Miguel Delaney went ahead and obviously added that Man United's new hierarchy have undertaken a review of the managerial situation but are unwilling to rush into any move. While Ten Hag himself is now pushing for clarity and could yet leave by mutual consent, there is possibility that the decision drags out for weeks. Now, why would you drag a decision of the next manager for the club of Manchester United for weeks, yet it's really going to be affecting the club of Manchester United? Why do you drag it on for weeks? Because we've already gone ahead to lose out to Sin. We are going to lose out on very many other people. You get? And Manchester United have found themselves in a situation of obviously bottling another season, and we are going to be losing out onto other players that we think are supposed to be coming in through at the club of Manchester United. I've just gone ahead to do a story onto the Rokani Media Football concerning Joshua Zirkzee, a player that Manchester United is interested into, all in, and they would love him to come to Manchester United to do the needful. You get? And in the due course, that cannot happen because Manchester United don't have a manager that is really settled on the job, and the player is like choosing AC Milan over Manchester United. Yet Zikezi is a cheaper option. If it's 34 million pounds, right? 34 million pounds for Zikezi. 23 years of age. He scored close to 18 goals last season. How come we are missing out on a guy? And why are we missing out on this guy? It's because of Manchester United putting in their stupid and uncalled for decisions that are really costing the club to this level. You understand? So, if you feel like he's the right guy, why don't you come out and give him the job? You get? Give him the job if at all you think he's the right guy. And your delay of not giving him the job just shows that he's not the right guy for the job. That is it. Because if he was, and you're 100% sure he is, then he would have gone already to obviously hand that job over to him. But I tell you what, they are really very, 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 very agitating when it comes to such stories they're really putting out. And it shows you that the entire media is really out of touch to what they're supposed even to print. Southgate is really looking bad, and we all know that he might be in his last days at England. The only thing that can save his job at England, sorry about that, is him obviously getting in what we call the Euros in. If he doesn't get the Euros in, he's really gonna get sacked. I tell you, he's gonna get sacked. He's gonna get sacked. That is it. He's gonna get sacked, and after getting sacked, he'll find himself in a position of having no job. And how do we obviously get in a manager who is gonna get sacked? Look at his recent performances. He played against Belgium, they drew 2-2. He played against Brazil. Brazil beat England at Wembley 1-0. He beat Bosnia, I think by 3-1. And then tonight he has gone ahead to lose to Iceland by 1-0. Now, a manager who cannot even beat Iceland with that squad, and moreover, they've been playing at Wembley in their last friendly that takes them to last friendly that takes them to Germany to obviously play their opening game with Serbia, because they're doing their opening game with Serbia. You get? Then they'll later play Slovenia and is it Ukraine in their group. So I tell you, England is at its worst because of this guy, and England has all the potential to win that position or that trophy, because they're really having good players that can obviously come in through and really put in a very good shift. So for me, I'm just castigating this side of INEOS. Amongst all managers, why could they go in for Gareth Southgate? Because all the managers that are jobless right now are better than that guy. I tell you, even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is better than Gareth Southgate. Solskjaer is better than Gareth Southgate. And let me not be what we call a devil's advocate or a prophet of doom, but Southgate cannot last a season at Manchester United. He can't. He can't last a season at Manchester United. That is it. Because he has a clique of players at Manchester United: Harry Maguire, Marcus Rashford, Luke Shaw, that love him a lot and will obviously try to boss around that. All right, the new boss is in, let's die for him. But can he really manage Manchester United? Because he's coming in through on the negative side. He's not loved at the club of Manchester United. He's not a fan favorite. Fans will be like, Erik Ten Hag is supposed to be the manager here. You get? And the moment you get it wrong on your first huge decision, then the fans will be like, INEOS, you've come here to sabotage our club. That is it. And Man United fans are really unruly that they can obviously spoil your days. So for me, Gareth Southgate is not the guy, and I'm like, this guy should really not come to the club of Manchester United. And sadly, INEOS are like trying to obviously get rid of Nice to obviously concentrate to Manchester United, and we've been told by the Independent that Man United owners INEOS are looking to sell Nice amid expectations that the two clubs will be given a one-season transition by UEFA to compete in the UEFA Europa League this season. Another factor is that Sir Jim wants to focus to Man United. Now, it's a good decision for him to sell off Nice, because if it's going to be a one-year transition, then he needs obviously not really see this happen. And I think very soon those laws will obviously be made clear that a person who owns two teams in Europe cannot see them playing the same competition. This time round, Manchester United has gone ahead to obviously be given a very huge go to play in the UEFA Europa League with Nice. They can even play in the same group. They can play alongside one another. But it won't be the case in the coming seasons. So he's like, let me sell off this side. And obviously, he bought them for, is it 200 million euros? And he can really sell, he can really earn a profit of like 500 million euros. That is it. And concentration of Manchester United doesn't mean that you get in Gareth Southgate. You need to really get Gareth Southgate out of your head. He's not the quality that is supposed to be at Manchester United. He doesn't even deserve a mention on the targets that INEOS are looking at to replace Erik ten Hag if at all is sacked. It's that bad. It's that insulting. So, you people, don't put out your dirty linen out like that. Now, Declan Rice has come out and obviously hailed Kobbie Mainoo into the game they played today against Iceland. Kobbie Mainoo is going to hit to play 90 minutes. He is going to hit to play his first 90 minutes for the club, for the country of England, in his third game. And Declan Rice hailed on teaming up with Kobbie Mainoo. He said, "We played together in March and it was very positive. I can imagine after we lost, some people would say things, but that's football these days. Every match is an opportunity to learn." And for me, I'm not going to castigate Gareth Southgate over that, but it's going to happen in the Euros. That's where reality kicks in. And with reality kicking in, he's going to be facing teams of high quality, right? And for Declan Rice, he really enjoys to play alongside this talented young man. The boy has the skill. He has all what it takes to be one of the best midfielders in the world. And I tell you, he's better than Jude Bellingham. I tell you, his skill set, he just has to increase his numbers and his stats next season at the club of Manchester United and obviously get everything going. Jude Bellingham was really one of the players that never really kicked in, because I think he's still on holiday celebrating and really cooling down after their Champions League triumph, and will be kicking in here. But when you look at the England fixtures for the Heroes, they're opening up with Serbia 16th June. Then after, they'll have to play against Denmark, that is 20th June, 4 days later, and 5 days later they'll have to play against Slovenia. Now we wait how things are really going to pan out for England and all these teams. If England plays like how they're going to hit to play today, they'll end up losing it. They'll lose it and no one will be like up for them. So wait and see how that pans out. But Declan Rice is going to hit to give this boy known as Kobbie Mainoo his flowers. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was sacked by Manchester United in 2021 around November, has come out and obviously started talks to become the new Leicester City manager. And for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think this is the kind of job that he would have gone ahead to be chasing before he made a decision to obviously become the manager of Manchester United. You get? And for the club of Leicester, with the style of play of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he can obviously keep any team into the Premier League. But even Leicester is a sacking side. You know, they sacked a man who gave them a Premier League trophy. You remember? It was Ranieri, right? It was Ranieri who won them the Premier League in 2016. And they went ahead to sack him, meaning that they are a no-nonsense side. But this comes in through after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had found himself a job with Besiktas, but they ended up choosing Van Bronckhorst over him. But it looks like his time to return back to duty is back, and Leicester City, a newly promoted side from the Championship, is really looking up for him, and I think he can do some good job with Leicester City. And there are players at Manchester United that he can get on loan and obviously help him out. You get? And he has gone ahead to establish himself. He knows exactly what the Premier League is all about, what to do to obviously win it, and we just wish him luck to obviously become the next Leicester City manager. And I tell you, if he keeps managing Premier League teams, with years to come, he might obviously return to Old Trafford as our manager after really getting to learn how to manage these situations. And I know he got a very good lesson in there for you, and we just can't wait for him to see him back at Old Trafford as a manager and even face Kieran McKenna, his former assistant at the club of Manchester United, and see how they can obviously take on one another. So guys, thank you very much for watching in through. It has been really long since I had come in here to obviously put in a shift, to obviously have a talk with you onto what Man United is all about. I've been always putting out recordings, but I say today, why not stream live and obviously talk to you? Apostle said Southgate cannot be a replacement for Erik ten Hag. Let's back Erik ten Hag with the best players and see if he will not deliver. That's my stance always. Even when very many people were like, Erik ten Hag out, I was like, don't sack Erik ten Hag. Just keep him here. Let him first work with your structure, because it has competent people that can obviously see him thrive, and the rest will be history. You understand? So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I sign out, and let me end this poll and see how you guys have gone ahead to vote. I asked a question that, should Southgate be United's next gaffer? 77% have gone ahead to say no, 22% have gone ahead to say yes. So that means close to 70% of United fans want Erik ten Hag to stay, and we beg INEOS to listen to the voice of the fans, because if you don't listen to the voice of the fans, then you turn out to be a dictator, because they are the ones that make this club what it is. Rokan David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. Good night those going to bed, and good morning to those waking up. See you